Hi and welcome to this week's market update. Wow, we have got some amazing news because in cryptos, it has gone to an all-time high, and I said that if it closes above that, we are in a new bull market, and that's exactly what has happened. So we're going to be looking at those charts, plus everything we talked about last week. Also, we are going to be talking about, what to be wary of in the markets right now. Everybody seems to be so optimistic because of everything that's happening. I'm not so sure. And we're going to be talking about the Airbnb IPO. That's right, we got in. Oh my goodness, you never guess what happened to the price when they were, well, you will see in just a moment. Now, one thing I do need to mention is normally I have my head trader next to me, but unfortunately he's not feeling well. Boo! So he, through the power of Zoom, he's actually come in from his home. How are you feeling, Dennis?
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm feeling better. It's been a rough couple of days, and I have tonsillitis, so excuse my voice. It's a bit difficult to speak. But now, I'm on antibiotics, and I'm filled with kind of painkillers. So now it feels good.
Now you feel really good. Woo! Okay, that is great. Well, we look forward to hear what you have to say then throughout the next episode. So let's get started. Okay, so let's start with seeing what has happened. And I tell you what, we're in for a real treat today because, Dennis, show us the first one. I think it is Norwegian Airlines. You remember that he was literally catching a falling knife. Ouch, 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 ouch. Trying to get his average price down on something that could go bankrupt because nobody is using airlines at the moment. But it had one thing amazing going for it. I'll give you a clue. Norwegian Airlines. Deutsche Bank, right? Both these companies should not even exist anymore. However, the governments will never let that happen because the Norwegians are never going to let that happen, as Deutsche Bank, the Germans, aren't going to let it happen as well. So, did you finally make some money, Dennis?
Yes, I actually did. This year was in October, I think. And now if you fast forward, this marked zone here, that was in October, it fell another 57% from that point. But then it went up 230%, which means that I made around 37% on it in kind of...
So hold on a moment. So that sounds good. 37%, you took your money and you've run. Is that right?
Almost correct. I took out my initial investment and now it's just pure profits in there.
Yeah, but it's come all the way back down. Yeah. Okay, well, fine.
So down 99% from the high. So let's see what happens.
Wow, it's amazing. So let's see what happens. But if it all goes to zero now, you wouldn't have lost any money, you're saying?
That is correct.
Right, and if it goes up, that's just pure profit.
Yeah, exactly. It's a win-win situation, I would say.
Yes. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so what's next? We had some trades, did we not? This was the short 40net here. We got a nice risk and a big reward ratio. So I'm really looking for this one to come down. What happened here?
Yeah, I really like this, but it didn't go the way I wanted to. Even though I did everything I could for it to go down, it went up instead.
It went up instead.
And then we made a 1% loss.
What do you mean you did everything? What do you mean by that? Like the market, we can't control what the market does. All we can do is have strategies with specific rules on where to get in, so we know exactly where and how much to get in, so we're only risking 1% of our entire portfolio to make a lot more. Remember, the ratios are so important. Well, this is only a 1% loss, Dennis. What's happened with some of the others?
Yes, so if we move on here, we had another trade because we wanted to trade in both directions.
Copper, yes, we've always got to make sure that we're hedging ourselves. That was the theme from last time, do you remember? That we got to have, especially depending on whether you're in a bull market. In your bull market, you want to have more longs than shorts. If you're on a kind of a sideways buffalo market, it wants to be equal. And when we're in a bear market, we want to have more shorts than longs. So here we want to have slightly more longs, really. This was a long here. Nice risk-reward ratio, not as good as the other one, but still, what's happened here, Dennis?
Yes, so what happened with this one is we're up a little bit in profit, around 1% at the moment, so hopefully it continues in that direction as well.
So are you looking to maybe raise your stop loss here to break even?
Yes, I'm looking at raising it to break even. I'm waiting for this trough to be created, so hopefully I can put it underneath the trough as soon as that is there.
So when in a long position, a trough is when it comes down and then goes up, leaving this kind of a V shape, if you like, a V like this, okay? And then we can assume that that is going to be the bottom. And that's how stocks don't just go straight up. They kind of do a V-shapy formation as they go up. So we'll be looking at that to see what happens next week. Anything else we had?
Yes, we had another one. This is Kotsko Wholesale, another long position we had from that we placed, and the result of that is also a 1% loss.
That's ridiculous with Christmas coming up. But okay, we're going to take that loss. So we took on the chin a 1% loss, another 1% loss. So we're down 2%, but we're looking for a 3% gain minimum. So you realize that all we really need is we need to have one of them succeed to make a profit, or we have 3 losses and one of them succeeds just to break even. And those are we like those kind of odds. Very, very good. And remember, we let our profits run even more if we possibly can to try and get 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9%. Okay, what else is happening? Let's talk about the cryptocurrency market. We have to talk about that. Remember, we said that if Bitcoin goes above 20,000, then we are going to be in one hell of a bull market. So what has happened with that?
Yeah, so Bitcoin was consolidating when we spoke last, and you said that it would either go up or down. And you were right, Marcus. It actually went up.
I was right. Oh, my goodness. I should have put money on that. Absolutely. I did put money on it, but in a different way. So it closed above 20,000, and that's it. You can see the big, as soon as it closed above 20,000, that is when it's never been higher than that, so there's no ceiling. Everybody starts jumping in amidst all the news about institutions coming in, and it's absolutely amazing. So it almost went up to 23,500, maybe even 24,000, which is really, really strong. So, we are at the solid bull market. Now, that doesn't mean it's just going to go up, up, up like this. Stocks, anything, gold, silver, anything does not just go up straight, although Bitcoin sometimes does. It will have to come down again, so don't get in at the top. Make sure you wait for those slight retracements, even a 10% one, before you get in. Don't FOMO in, fear of missing out. What else has happened?
Yeah, and then we said last time as well that Bitcoin was trading so high, it was around the all-time high, but some of these altcoins, smaller cryptos, also have a great opportunity because they have not gone up as much.
So this was one,
the Bitcoin market goes up, then the altcoins start.
The altcoins start going up, and we were really excited about these because this was down 22%, so we could have used our VCA strategy. So hopefully that one went up.
Yes, and it did. It's up 17% from that moment.
Round of applause, as I say to my kids. Round of applause for any of you that managed to get in. They all went up. Let's have a look at them very quickly.
Yeah. So ADA also was down a little bit.
The Ethereum killer. The Ethereum killer.
Ethereum killer. Yeah, exactly.
But it's not at its all-time highs, which is really interesting. What else did we have?
Yeah, and then we had XLM as well, 30%.
Oh, that was definitely a good time to get. Okay, 25% up since that time. So congratulations if you did manage to take advantage of that. What about Ethereum?
Ethereum also was at 5.76.
I'm looking at Gabriella, she's smiling now, our camera person. She must be up there as well because she recently went in. Fantastic. 16%. Wonderful. Big round of applause. Okay, wonderful. So that's the update for now. Let's see what we're going to cover for this week. So let's take a look at what is actually happening in the market. And I've got to tell you, it is confusing as hell. Because when you look at what drives the market in terms of investor sentiment, for example, it seems to be extremely positive out there, right? Now, which, by the way, could be a bearish sign. I know it doesn't kind of make sense, but when it's too positive, that normally is a sign when there is going to be a reversal. And I have to say, I'm very cautious right now. The economic outlook, recession pessimism, really, which is what I'm feeling, has shifted for some reason in the market to optimism. When you see all of these companies going higher and higher and higher and higher, people think, oh, well, everything must be good then, which it isn't, because for me, the company fundamentals are everything. And even the companies that were supposed to do well post-pandemic, and it's not even post-pandemic, we're right in it, are doing badly. Look, bottom line, have a look in the high street. What is happening? Are as many people shopping? Are you shopping as much as you could be if you were allowed to go out? I don't think so. I mean, some places are totally shut down. There's tier 1, tier 2, but tier 3, they're obviously going to suffer the most. So for me, I'm sorry, I am just not that optimistic, Dennis.
No, I totally agree, and I think we are in London now going into tier 3, and we are just one of many examples that are doing this. So the economy is going to continue to suffer. So for the economic outlook to look a lot better is interesting. They might see the light at the end of the tunnel, which means that they were seeing that we're going to open up the countries. We have the vaccines as well, but it's going to take a long time. So in the short to medium term, I would be very cautious, and even in the longer term as well.
Okay, so what can we do? Do you have anything for us? We talked last week about hedging, making sure that we are long and short as well. Do you have anything for us to look at? I thought you had quite a few.
Yeah, I have a couple here. So we have Alien Energy Corp, for example. Looks like a good trade to do. And remember, when you're trading, we always have a stop loss, right? To in case it goes in the other direction. So it's important to have stocks that go up and down so we can make money in both directions, but also investing into different asset classes. Probably looking at cryptos, gold and silver as well, just in case something happens.
Okay, so on this one here, we've got a pretty good risk. You can see the kind of what color is that? I mean, what color would you say that was? Or I don't know why I'm asking you.
Green, this one?
That one, yeah, that's green, but the one below it.
Red?
Salmon? I don't know color. But anyway, so that's the risk to reward ratio. Looks pretty good on that one, so we'd be going long that if we're using a stop order to get us into this one. So that one is available. What else do we have? Do we have a short, Dennis?
We do, actually, and this is Appfolio Incorporated.
Wow, look at that. Okay, so this one here as well. Stop loss, if you need to put a stop loss here as well. As you can see, Dennis has used the one on the left-hand side here, that one there, just a little bit above that, just in case it goes there. But it's got great downside potential. Again, the risk-reward ratio on that one, so we'll be seeing what happens to those this time next week. Okay, good job. Next. Well, we have an absolutely fantastic story for you because, of course, we have our resident expert, Keith, who's in our trading room next door, jumping into the next big IPO, which, of course, is Airbnb. Maybe you've used the service as well, so you know that it works. But the question is, did this trade work? Dennis, what actually happened?
Yes, so if we take a look at the chart here, it opened at 144, went up to around 164, and then all the way down to 115-ish, and then it turned green. So
well, hold on a moment. So as far as I'm concerned, what actually happened was that they were selling shares pre-ICO at 68. So how did it open? What did you say, at 144? How did that happen?
Yeah, because so before the market opens, since it's very new, there's a lot of interested people. There's a bid and ask war, basically. So they pushed up the price all the way to 144. So when the market opened, it opened so high.
So this is a great learning here. Never get in with a market order. Always get in with either a limit order if the price is here and you want it to come down to your price and you only want this price, use a limit order. If it's down here and you want to get in up here, use a stop order. Dennis, we hardly ever use a market order. And I think what happened here is that Keith, expecting to get in at 68, got in. And think about it, probably there was so much pressure going up. Do you know what price he actually got in at?
Yeah, he got in at around 144, 46.
Oh, okay. So as it then kind of opened and came down, then he got in that point. So he would have made a little bit of profit going up there, no?
Yeah, a little bit, I think, but I don't think you watched it when the market opened.
Right. Because I think there was a good 10% there at least, I'm looking at, maybe even more. That's really interesting. I wasn't expecting it. So it actually probably could have made us 10, 15%. Remember, we're looking for 15 to 20% using the VCA strategy. And now it's come down. Now, what would you do right now? Because obviously it's gone up a little bit. It's gone up. If you would have gone in at minus 20%. So is now a good time to get in, or would you wait until it comes back down again?
Now I would wait until it goes down 20% again. So the line we have marked on the chart, that is the 20% mark. So I would absolutely wait until it's down there again. So
what are we looking at around 132 before we get in?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay, so that means that Keith is a little bit underwater right now, unless he got in again. Do you know whether he got in again to make his average price? He did.
Got in again. He's around break even at the moment.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, fantastic. But we are going to wait. We're going to wait till it falls just a little bit there again. But you know, people do need to know this, Dennis. This is a loss-making company. It's Airbnb, which, as far as I'm concerned, during the pandemic, I mean, was not a great company to be in.
Absolutely, but I think it's grown to be one of the world's biggest when it comes to renting when you go to another country, or even within the same country. So it's become very popular in that sense. So it's a fast growing company, but yes, it's not making any profit, and it might be a lot too high now. However, if it does come down a lot in price because of a new lockdown. And I think it's a growth company, right? I think it's a company for the future. So if it comes down enough and then we get out of lockdown, then I think they're really going to do well. But it's too early to say, and there's no pattern on the chart to show a support or resistance. No. So now that it's being created.
And call me old-fashioned, but I really do like to see a little bit of profit in the companies that I invest in. But I have been wrong in the past. I mean, when Facebook first came out, I didn't get in because I just didn't understand their business model until they started all that online marketing. And now, of course, they make so much money through that. And I have been wrong in the past. The same with Google, the same with Amazon. All they wanted to do was capture market share, which Airbnb clearly is the winner here and the market leader. So, it's a growth company. What they're doing is, rather than focusing on profits, they're just trying to grow, capture market share so that everybody will use them. And I'm sure the profits will come. All right, very good. And next, time for our weekly crypto update. Well, the markets, as far as I'm concerned, we are officially in the new bull market with Bitcoin, as I said earlier, going and closing above the 20,000 and then continuing. That doesn't mean it's not going to come back before it goes back up. But basically, look, we've got some negative views and we've got some positives. So, Dennis, why don't you start us off with the negative one?
Thank you. It will be my pleasure. So negative, I think it's important that we get both sides, right? Everything is not that it's going to go to 100,000 right away. So with these negative, if you like, I just want to emphasize how important it is to follow a strategy and to wait for it to come down a bit, because it always does at some point. So the first thing I want to mention here is if we have a look at the Cme Gap, right? So we've gone through this before, but this is futures. It's just a way for people to invest into cryptos without owning the actual crypto. And that market is closed over the weekend. So if the market moves up over the weekend, it creates a gap in the market. So because the future market closes on Friday and then opens on Monday. And then the crypto market trades during the Saturday and Sunday as well. So what's interesting with this is that these gaps, usually, I would say over 95%, they get filled, right? We have some other ones that have not been filled, so there's no certainty. It's just an indication that it might be. And I think that would provide us with a really good buying opportunity potentially as well. Could it fall more? Absolutely, which is why we would not get in with everything there. So that's the first negative. That's the first part of why it might fall lower. The second part to it is that the US, they might impose more regulation when it comes to cryptos. They are talking about it. That could affect the market negatively as well. At the end of the day, we do need more regulation. But if it affects the wallet holders, they need to be less anonymous. So they need to maybe have a KYC, need to show that they actually hold the wallets. That would be a little bit problematic, and I think that would have a negative effect on the market in the short term.
And just remember that KYC is know your customer. So basically, not just opening up to anybody, who comes along, but actually knowing your customer. Then people know where those funds actually come from, and that's part of the anti-money laundering laws. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay. So that's the negatives, right? But there's a lot more positives than negatives. So, for example, the number of wallets that have been opened. I mean, if you have a look at this, Dennis, it's just going up and up and up since 2009.
Yeah, the trend is up.
And so what is this? This is...
Yeah, so this is the number of active wallet addresses that holds more than one Bitcoin. Because remember, the blockchain is open and public. It's a public system, so anyone can look at this and find it. So it's over approximately, I would say, 860,000 people that have a wallet with one Bitcoin or more.
Or more.
So you might say, whoa, that's a lot of people. Well, not really, is it? I mean, thinking about that, we are, between 8 and 10 billion people in the world?
No, but the trend is up. I mean, and that's what we're looking for. We're looking for where is the trend. I mean, if it was going down, that wouldn't be good. So that all leads to that positive news and the case for the bull market. And also, I mean, there's a couple of other things. For example, Blockchain Capital is a major investment firm, and as a lot of firms try and do, they have some fun with trying to see what is going to happen next year, and they do some prognosis. And one of the things that they talked about, they basically gave 10 things, but one of them was they really believe in DeFi, so decentralized finance. And so can you tell us a little bit more about that, Dennis?
Yeah, absolutely. So everything that we have nowadays, right? We have a bank account, you can earn interest, you can then lend money, right? You can borrow money from the bank, etc., etc. So all those financial services we have today are now being decentralized, right? So decentralized finance. Now, one word of caution here is that this area is not regulated yet. So it's very risky. So if you invest in it, make sure you are responsible with your risk. But what happens is basically that you can earn interest. You can put your Bitcoin in a savings account, you can earn interest, and you can lend your money. If you're not using it, you're lending it to others, and they pay you interest for it. So all the services that banks provide today is now actually available to us in the crypto market.
So which cryptos do you think we should be looking at to take advantage, or look, let's put it this way, which ones are we looking at to take advantage of this trend?
Yeah, we're looking at a lot more than these, but I want to show you the first one. That is Chainlink. So they work with a lot of other things than DeFi or decentralized finance, but they work with interoperability. So
interoperability. So what is that? Between various blockchains.
Yeah, exactly. So what they're doing is, like Mark is saying, they actually help all the different DeFi projects or other projects as well, but to work together, right? So they can talk to each other and use their services and products in order to really create a good ecosystem. So we are looking to invest kind of in the bigger things. We like Ethereum because it is the what would you call it, Marcus? It's the
platform. It's the platform on which most of these DeFi projects have actually been built until they mainly might launch maybe their own blockchain. But some of them don't need to do that. They'll just carry on using Ethereum. So what are we saying here on Link? Because Link has been, an amazing one for us in terms of percentage growth in the last year. But it's down, you're saying 14% from a recent high. So now's not the time to get in unless we're in a bull market. And the discussion that we need to have is, because our rules are always get in at 20%, minus 20% from a recent high. But when you're in a bull market, you definitely need to get in earlier. So I think we should start talking about getting in at 10% from a recent high, which means that this is now a good time to get in. But remember, you need to have enough money to keep going in at each of the levels. So make sure you learn the VCA strategy properly before you do that. What else do we have? You said Atom, did you?
Absolutely. Atom is another one. They do a little bit the same thing. They're also an interoperability network. So it's also super interesting. So they do very similar things as Chainlink, and they have some really interesting projects that they're working with in terms of DeFi. But we just don't know, right? We don't want to put all our eggs into one basket. Which one is the new Microsoft or Facebook? So here is another one that might be a great one for next year if DeFi keeps growing as it has done this year.
And this one here at minus 36 from it's what we call the most recent high. Looks like it's just that short term. It does look like it's in the middle of a horizontal buffalo. So I'm like, ugh. But yeah, it is at minus 36% from a recent high. What about Uniswap? Is that one maybe to look at?
Yeah, I think so, because Uniswap is, so one thing that we've seen this year as well, a trend has been decentralized exchanges. And for those of you who know, Coinbase is one of the biggest ones in the world. And at one point, point, the Uniswap actually overtook Coinbase in terms of volume, which is insane.
That's insane if you consider how long Uniswap has actually been really, like, you know, going. Absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to emphasize what this is, when a decentralized exchange is, it means that there's no centralized, like Coinbase is centralized. You sign up, you need to give them your passport, right? You need to give them all the information. And if something happens, then with the exchange, then you can't access your money, right? It's like logging into your bank account. But with a decentralized exchange, all you do is you connect your external wallet. You do your things there, you buy the crypto you want to do, or you swap them, Uniswap, and then it's in your wallet. So you have the full control and the full power of using Uniswap.
It sounds to me like that is definitely a trend to be looking at in this decentralized industry, that the exchanges themselves start becoming more decentralized, because all the big ones, Binance, Coinbase, Kraken, all of them, all the big ones, they're all centralized, Dennis. So would you get in now at minus 16%?
I would probably wait a little bit now before I get in, at least at 20%.
Oh, you're waiting for that 20%. Okay, fine.
I'm in, but
oh yeah, me too.
Now we wait a little bit, but you know, in a week or two, I think we get the.
And also, if you just look at that pattern there, it does look like it's likely to come down before it goes up. But timing the market is notoriously challenging, and if you're in it for the long term, then obviously take a view on that. Make sure you do your research, though. I hope you enjoyed this week's market update, and comment below whether you agree or, more importantly, disagree about the market sentiment at the moment. Are we being over optimistic, or are we in for a big correction? Also, what do you think about what is happening in the crypto markets right now? Do you think that we are in a bull market? I think we are. What do you think? And are you getting in? Because remember, there is no ceiling. It could go to the moon right now. So please do comment below. Also, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. Hit the subscription button to make sure that you always get every single week what we are getting into and why we're getting into it, so you can take a view on that as well.